But yeah, it looks pretty rad, and I spent my first day there looking at Ubi's stuff, and that all looks pretty good. I'm super excited for Assassin's Creed. Speaking of which,
what?
It's a story that is impossible to avoid with Assassin's Creed, which blew the fuck up at E3. You cannot play as a woman in Assassin's Creed, and because one of the developers gave a response that was excerpted as "it's too much trouble to put women in the game," then it blew up, and suddenly Ubisoft is the most horrible sexist company ever.
He gave a terrible response.
It was a terrible response, although
it just sounded more like one that
he was trying to be honest, and the honest fact was they did not design it to have playable women characters except as an afterthought, and could not afford to do that. That was his response, and that is not a good reason. But
well, the reason he also gave was that because you will never see yourself as a female character, you're always playing as Arno. The other players will see you as Arno, so you wouldn't be able to see yourself as female. Is it worthwhile to add a female avatar that you will never actually play?
No, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
but the thing is, that didn't have to be the design of the game. And initially, they had clearly, the way he made it sound, they wanted the game to work differently, but couldn't do it. So, going, well, that's how it's designed, that's how it works, to me, that is not a great argument, because it didn't have to be designed where you're always Arno. Anyway,
that's true. But it is weird that this story went fucking nuclear. I seen people who never talk about games talking about how angry they are at Ubisoft. It's too much trouble to put a woman in a game, then it's too much trouble for me to give you my money. Wow, okay.
I hate, because yes, women characters nice, but it just, there's no response anybody could have given that would have been acceptable, and sometimes people just want something to be mad about. And
a lot of people want something to be mad about. Apparently,
I know, but it's not just something to be mad about. But this is also the series that just had a minority female
in a Vita game
as the main character,
isn't a real game,
and an HD remake.
Which
was a downloadable only game on Xbox 11.
It doesn't count.
Yeah, well, okay. To be fair, Aveline was in the worst Assassin's Creed game since the first one. But
so I still don't understand. Maybe maybe wait a little bit. Maybe wait a little bit. Maybe if the company already had a mandatory female character, maybe there's something.
Yeah. Well, I guess
saying mandatory female character is exactly the problem. Yeah. Men are the archetype. Women are an afterthought. Men are the template for a human being, and then women are thought of as well, if we have the budget, I guess.
Well,
that is how it's done.
It's less the thing is human being and more action.
It's perfectly reasonable to want a female character and express disappointment over not getting one.
And that's what happened, and you guys are saying it blew up. No, people expressed that they were frustrated by this trend.
It became the biggest story of that week, which I don't think it merits being.
Even the LA Times reported on it, Tyler.
Do you know why it became that big of a story, though? Because people expressed discontent over it, and then a bunch of assholes flipped out and attacked people like me. And
I apologized. I can't use that.
I'm just saying, it becomes a huge story because as soon as someone expresses discontent, there is this furious riot of men going, you can't tell them how to make a game, and then it becomes this, the criticizers get, disproportionately criticized for criticizing.
But that's any controversy on the internet. It ends up with two extremes tackling each other. I mean, here's what I think. I think that a lot of the people who are complaining about it aren't in full command of the facts. That that this character is a male for story reasons. Yes, they made it that way, but so did lots of other games. But this is also a series that has had more non-white protagonists than white protagonists. I mean, if you split up the number of games, yes, Ezio had more games than Altair or Aveline or Adewale, but
Ezio's not white.
Ezio's Italian.
Italian. Is he white?
He's an Itai.
I don't consider myself white. I can say whatever I want about you people.
I think that Ubisoft has been pretty progressive overall.
Yes.
It's Far Cry co-op, no female character.
It's a little weird. Yeah, okay. And they did think about that one, and that's a shame because there's no reason they couldn't do that. There's no reason we had to be stuck with Herc.
But then again, you can also go Division, yes, and I believe Rainbow Six, yes. So, I mean, as far as the big companies go, I think they're fairly on top of it, but nobody is really fully on top of it. And
well, it also seems weird to me. It's like, why is Ubisoft suddenly becoming the poster child of...
That's a little weird.
You put white men in all your games. Like, I've heard people complain about Watch Dogs the same way. It's like, white Aiden Pierce, he goes around beating up on minorities. He's such an obvious choice for a protagonist. And it's like, this is Ubisoft. They don't just do white dudes all the time. I guess it's that plus Jason Brody.
My favorite game from them is Beyond Good and Evil, and I'm wondering, there is no. This is a dumb. I want to play as a boy in Beyond Good and Evil.
That's dumb. You're dumb.
I didn't get to do that. It's a perfectly legitimate request to ask that my Jade be a man, but
is it?
So what?
I think
no, it's not. It is not a legitimate request, Chris.
It's not.
Almost all games are men. This is
what you're asking. What you're asking is that the character you're playing as is to be a representative of you. And why would I like? It would be.
I know what they're asking is just more than in 3 token games a year.
I know why.
If you have the choice, then there should be why don't you have the full spectrum of choice?
Yeah. But they said
I know
for
the
AC
real
they
reason.
didn't have a choice.
I know the real reason they didn't have a choice in AC.
What?
It's because one of the key gameplay tactics that you'll be able to use this time around, one of the key gameplay mechanics, and they haven't revealed this yet, is that all of Arno's signature kills against Templars involve choking them to death with his penis.
Wow.
That's true.
You cannot do that as a woman. I rest my case. A woman has no penis with which to choke a Templar.
And you hide all your throwing knives in your prostate.
Yes.
So
it's
when you choke a guard out with your penis, do you just deep throat him until he chokes? Okay,
Yes.
I thought he had a very elastic wiener that he just tied around the guy's neck.
No. This is all full on facial intercourse.
Okay,
consensual. I mean, the guard agrees to it, but then you just keep it going way too long, and he gets kind of uncomfortable and pretends to pass out so that you'll stop.
It just seems weird that I don't know. It's perfectly reasonable. I've never really cared what the character I'm playing as looked like, and I know because they're usually white, but it's never really been a thought oh shit, CJ, that's cool.
Yeah, but if the characters you were playing as were always someone who wasn't like you,
that's true.
If you're black and black guys are always gangster villains, aren't you going to get tired of it?
I play as a majority of games where I'm a car.
That's not a good argument.
Yeah, My Mother the Car is your favorite show.
It was funny.
Inside the Car is the white hero of the game.
Presumably.